Hello, welcome back. I'm Scott.
And I'm Allison.
And today we're jaw-jacking with Jarhead and Ginger. Something a little different on jaw-jacking today. We're actually going to show you around this Arrowhead Resort. It's an Encore 1000 Trails park, and we think you need to know about it right away. Here's the entrance of the Arrowhead Resort. As you can see here, they've got their RV or their campground sign right in the middle of the entrance and exit. Not that big of a deal because a lot of parks do something like this, but this one also has a fence on the right. So to get in here, you really have to make it wide and get it with any size of an RV. You really have to make a wide turn and just plan that. That's not that big of a deal. A lot of RV parks have that, like I said, but we're going to show you some sights here, and hopefully you will get this prior to actually pulling in here and making a reservation here. After you come through the tight entrance here, you'll be facing the office. You'll go over this one of many harsh speed bumps here, and then there's a stop sign on the right you can stop at to go in and get the package for your site that they want you to park in.
The park does have some wonderful amenities. You can see this brand new playground, the picnic pavilion, the tennis courts, basketball courts. There's a swimming pool, all very nice. There's also in the distance a soccer field, horseshoe pits. So lots of things to enjoy here at this park.
This park is set up with two big circular areas for parking, with an outer road and an inner road. So there's two roads per circle. We're going to take you and show you the site that they want us to put our 43-foot momentum into first. This is our site. Well, the site that they've assigned us. We're actually in the pull-through because they allowed us to stay there for a couple of nights. But this is the site they want us to park in. And if you look down it, hopefully you can tell it's straight downhill here, guys. I'm at least 6 or 8 feet high in the front in this site, and it's really not long enough for a 43-foot RV. I'd have to put my wheels all the way down past the rocks in order to get my RV and my truck to be able to park in here. Let's walk back here and see how the amenities are working. This is a full hookup, including dump site, according to the paperwork and everything. This is what we have here. This is our dump. This is our dump station. It's on the correct side and it's in a decent location, but no water and no power close at all. The closest is water, which is right over there. It's not too far, so that's not bad. 20 feet maybe, I'd say. But here's the big issue. You have to look all the way over there to get to power. And they're only 30 amp, which we knew that already. So, but the power's all the way back there. I have a 50-foot power cord, and when I hooked it over there, I hooked my power dog to it and hooked my cord up to the power dog, and I unrolled it. My power cord came to about here. There's no way. I would have had to have an extension to even get in here. And then, on top of that, if you look here, it looked like it was paved at one point, but it's so old and deteriorated. You can see right here where jack pads have gone and sunk into the ground. So I could put the momentum in here. It could fit, and I could put the truck kind of sideways and actually fit in here, but I don't think I could get this thing level in this site, guys. No way. We asked them to change to 3 or 4 different sites, and they said no, they refused to allow us to change sites, even though we weren't in this one yet, and the sites that we asked them about were empty. This is probably the worst site in the park. This is site 180, and I'm going to walk down here and show you just how steep of an angle this thing is at. But I would say, we're standing on the road right now, I would say from the road to the end of the site back there you have 25, maybe 30 feet, and at least half of that is on a slope, on an angle. So let me go ahead and walk down here, and hopefully you will be able to tell just how steep this thing is as I get down here. The angle stops probably right in here, and the rest of it is flat from here. But I'm now 10 or 15 feet from the camera, and I'm below waist level of where Allison is. So that's how much of a steep angle this thing is. I don't even know if you could put a tab in here, guys. The entrance is all rutted out in front of me here, between me and you guys. It's all rutted out. And then if you look back here, again, it's supposed to be a full hookup site, but you have the dump that is in the right spot, but no water and power. In order to get water, you'd have to go 30 feet that way, or 30, 35 feet that direction, and that's where the power is too, back there about 35 feet or so from the actual site itself. Not to mention how low these branches are. Guys, I'm only 5'8", so my hand's about 6.5, maybe 7 feet up there. That branch is maybe a foot or two above my head, or above my hand there. So that's only about 8.5, 9 feet, and you're gonna be hitting branches here. Really, really poor site.
This part of the park is set up like a wagon wheel. There are 3 rings or loops. They put most of the travelers on the inner loops, and as you can see, there are mostly annuals or seasonals in this park, which is fine. A lot of the Thousand Trails are like that, but all the best sites seem to be taken, of course, by those. There are some really cute decorations. On the other side of the wagon wheel loop, there are also a lot of seasonal sites, and in the rules you're supposed to keep your sites in orderly manner. Yeah, I don't think they're really enforcing that rule.
Now we're coming up to the part of the park that has the best sites in the park that are available. There's about 5 or 6 pull-through sites down here, and they actually have the water, the dump, and the power on the correct side and fairly close together, so you could actually hook to it like a normal campground. I don't know what happened to the rest of this park, but at least 95 to 98% of this park, I would say, is way crazy on how they have all the hookups and everything. Another thing I don't get about parks, and it's not only this one, why do they put the 4x4 posts in everywhere? To have the site number on them? That's great. How about you paint the site numbers on the power pedestals and stop putting up posts that people in big RVs need to maneuver around when they're backing in and stuff.
I do have to add that the staff here, particularly Pam, was very helpful. She called when we were on our way. It was right before the office closed at 5. We were about an hour and a half to 2 hours out on the highway, and she called to let us know that there was a severe storm moving in. So she gave us 2 options. She said that we could take a pull through that was only available for a couple of nights, and that way we could stay hooked up in case severe weather came and we had to get out quickly. Or she gave us the option of going ahead and going to our site. We decided to pull over at a rest stop, wait it out, and then when we got here, it was almost dark, and we pulled to our site. And that, you saw, was unacceptable.
So we did come over and we pulled into the pull-through site. Again, the pull-through sites, although they're better than the rest of the park, seemingly, there's still hookups and stuff on both sides. So I pulled in what I now know it was the opposite direction I should have, and hooked up on the correct side of my RV. So it's all fine. This park isn't getting this bad of a review because of the staff. The staff are doing their jobs just fine. One thing I don't understand is, after we saw our site and parked it here in the pull-through, the next day we went around and looked at all the open sites and saw a few that we thought we could get into. So then we went down and asked them if we could, switch from the site that they had us in to one of these other sites, and for whatever reason, they kept saying no. So there were 3 or 4 sites that we could have gotten into and been just happy and fine, but they said no, you can't do it. You have to be in that bowl-shaped site that doesn't have any power for 100 yards. So I don't know. I don't quite understand that part, but other than that, the staff here has been excellent. No complaints at all. But you did see, you know, all the tour of the campground, starting at the front with the big sign in the middle of the road, and how crappy some of the sites are and how low some of the branches are and all that stuff. So I would say personally, I would never come back here. And if you haven't been here and are planning to come here, I would not go to Arrowhead. I would go, there are other Thousand Trails parks, if that's what you're looking for specifically, is Thousand Trails. I would not come to Arrowhead.
Well, let me say they did offer us an extension cord. However, we did talk to the couple that would have been our neighbors, and I really wish we could have stayed in the spot, because they came out this morning and talked to us. Very nice couple. They told us that the extension cords that they do lend aren't the proper thickness? Gauge.
They're too thin. The wire's too thin for that long of a run, basically.
We don't want to take the chance of our electrical system getting messed up, or, you know, a fire or something for having the wrong size extension cord.
Not worth it.
No, it's not worth it at all.
So we were supposed to be here for 2 weeks. This is going to be our 3rd night, and tomorrow we're leaving.
Yep.
We cut our stay short by well over a week because the sites here are that bad, and the inability to get into one of the sites that would actually work for our RV. So we had to cut our stay here short. And that's why we're putting this out on a jaw jacking. We normally wouldn't do a park review during a jaw jacking, as you guys know, if you've been around and watched our jaw jackings and whatnot. But we think it's important for you guys to know. It's season right now. We're in peak season still. We're coming to the end. Kids are going back to school soon. But especially for us full-timers that really like to stay in the Thousand Trails system because we've paid for it already, I would be very wary of coming here unless you have a really small RV and you can fit in to some really tight spots.
There was also another channel. I don't want to say their name because I haven't discussed them with it. I will ask them, and then if they say it's okay, I'll put a link in the comments or of the description. But this other channel, this couple got here, and they work online. They have Wi-Fi here, but you have to pay for it. I guess they got that Wi-Fi, and they couldn't even work. They had to get transferred to another Thousand Trails park just to be able to work. And that's with paid internet.
We don't do the paid internet, and we just have the visible phones, and we use our hotspot to, you know, get on TV and everything. And it has streamed, our hotspots have streamed YouTube here the last couple of nights, no problem. So we know it does work for downloading. I haven't tried to upload a video yet. I will soon with this one though, guys.
Also, those nice neighbors told us that the other YouTube channel had called a Thousand Trails to the main office, and that's how they were able to switch to the other park. And they suggested that we call and go ahead and see if they can move us to another site in this park. As much as I'd love to stay here, we've already made arrangements to move to our next destination. We were able to get in there early, so, and that lady pulled some strings for us to do that. So I just want to make sure that you know, we just go on to our next spot. I was really excited to see this area. It's a beautiful place. We had friends we were going to meet here. We'll have to meet them at the next stop. It's still close enough there.
I was really surprised also. We did go into, we're in the Dells, Wisconsin area, and we did go into the Dells, and I was super shocked at just how completely touristy this town is. I had no idea. Apparently she did some research and she knew.
Yeah.
But I'm talking every corner there's a duck tour. The you know, all the big things like the Ripley's Believe It or Not. There's probably Wax Museum, and every other business down there is some kind of a water slide.
Yeah, water park. Or
that are just full of people.
Yeah,
So,
escape room, all of those fun things. 20 years ago or so, we would have loved that. He wouldn't have. He would have stayed in the RV. He doesn't like water parks and amusement parks and stuff. But with the kids, that it would have been great. It would have been so much fun. But just looking at the crowds right now, I don't want to get in that water.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more things to see, and we chose this area because it's central for us to venture out. But sadly, we won't be able to bring you anything from Wisconsin Dells besides this.
Not this time. Maybe we'll be back to Wisconsin Dells, but we definitely won't be back to the Arrowhead Encore Park. Absolutely not. Definitely 2 thumbs down on the park. 2 just from me. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll see you next time on Jaw Jacking with Jarhead and Ginger.
Bye.